Boone, North Carolina, nestled in the picturesque Blue Ridge Mountains, is a charming town known for its natural beauty, vibrant culture, and outdoor recreational opportunities. Home to Appalachian State University, Boone boasts a youthful energy while still retaining its small-town charm. Visitors flock to Boone for its scenic hiking trails, including those along the iconic Blue Ridge Parkway, as well as its skiing and snowboarding facilities during the winter months. The town also offers a thriving arts and music scene, with local galleries, theatres, and live music venues showcasing the talents of both residents and visiting artists. With its friendly atmosphere, stunning landscapes, and rich cultural offerings, Boone is a beloved destination for adventurers, nature lovers, and artists alike. On Thursday, the 3rd of February 1972, residents of Boone were tucked up inside their homes, wrapped in blankets and huddling by their fireplaces as they listened to the howling blizzard that enveloped the town. The storm gripped Boone fiercely, with the town being battered by 40-mile-an-hour winds and 4 inches of snow having settled on the ground as evening fell. Visibility was exceptionally poor for any travellers who endured the adverse weather conditions as they passed through the town. According to a news report by the Winston-Salem Journal, the Durham family resided on Clyde Townsend Road, a steep cul-de-sac situated off North Carolina 105 bypass on the western outskirts of Boone. The Observer mentioned that they had relocated to the town from Mount Airy a year prior. The Winston-Salem Journal stated that 51-year-old Bryce Durham, alongside his wife Virginia, aged 46, and their 18-year-old son Bobby Joe, relocated to Boone, where Bryce fulfilled his lifelong dream of establishing and managing his own car dealership, which he named Boone's Buick. Virginia and Bryce also had a 19-year-old daughter, Ginny Sue, who lived with her husband, Troy Hall, in a home 4 miles away. The family were known to be quiet and hard-working. On the evening of the 3rd of February, Bryce Durham was at the Appalachian Ski Mountain Resort where he attended a Rotary Club meeting. Because of the storm, many members were unable to attend the meeting, which was also to be in the company of the Green Berets, also known as the United States Army Special Forces. Once the meeting had concluded, Bryce left the ski resort in the company of a friend, and the pair headed towards Boone's Buick car dealership on East King Street, where Virginia Durham was working. Bryce's friend later told investigators that they both arrived at the dealership at approximately 8:30 p.m. It was reported that Bobby, who was said to have been a student attending Appalachian State University, had been at the premises waiting for his parents to reunite so that the Durhams could all travel home together. With no signs of improvement in the weather, Bryce made the decision to take himself, his wife and son back home in a green and white SUV, which had been parked in the dealership, as that particular vehicle would manage to trawl through the snowstorm and withstand potentially icy or partially blocked roads. Reports indicated that several of the Durham's neighbours witnessed the family returning to their home in the SUV at approximately 9 p.m. Troy Hall, the husband of Bryce and Virginia's daughter Ginny, returned home from his studies at Appalachian State University at around 10 p.m, with officials later verifying his presence at campus from 5 p.m. At 10:30, as Troy and Ginny listened to music, the phone unexpectedly rang. Troy picked up, and on the other end of the line was the voice of his mother-in-law, Virginia Durham, who frantically told Troy that she needed help as 3 men, quote, had Bryce and Bobby. Before he had an opportunity to respond, the phone line went dead. At first, Troy believed that he was victim of a prank. However, Ginny told him that her mother wouldn't dare to prank anyone. Troy darted for his car with Ginny by his side. However, he was unable to get the vehicle started. He went to his neighbour, Cecil Small, who was a private detective, for help. The two men, with Ginny in tow, managed to drive to the Durham residence. Ginny stayed in the car as the two men went to investigate. They were immediately alarmed, as the house appeared to be in a state of disarray, with clues to indicate that some sort of physical attack had occurred. Furthermore, a telephone had been ripped from the wall. Troy and Cecil then found the lifeless bodies of Bryce, Virginia, and Bobby in the bathroom. At 10:50 p.m, Troy called the authorities to notify them of the discovery. Bryce, Virginia, and Bobby were all submerged in the bathtub, where the water was still running and had partially flooded a portion of the house. All three were fully clothed, with their hands tied behind their backs and their heads underwater. Autopsy reports revealed that Bryce and Bobby were first strangled and then drowned, while Virginia had been strangled before being placed in the bathtub. Rope burns were present on their necks and hands, and it was also reported that Bryce had been struck with a blunt instrument on his head, and Virginia had been hit by the same instrument on her face. Authorities believed that between 20 and 30 minutes had elapsed between Virginia's phone call to Troy and the discovery of the trio's bodies. A peculiar detail which emerged early on in the investigation was that the green and white SUV which Bryce had used from the car dealership that night was missing. Initially, robbery was thought to have been the motive, more so when the vehicle was recovered approximately 3 miles away, abandoned in a ditch, with, according to the Winston-Salem Journal, quote, "lights on, windshield wipers slapping, doors closed, motor still running." Witnesses also reported seeing the SUV leaving the Durham home at approximately 10:30 p.m. Within the abandoned SUV was a pillowcase which held silverware in it, fueling police's belief that robbery was the motive for the crime. This theory, however, was quickly questioned, as a bank deposit box, which was located in the Durham house, sat untouched. It was thought easy to spot in the house, which left investigators puzzled as to why it was not taken. Authorities struggled in their quest to find those responsible for their deaths. The Durhams were not known to have any enemies, and there was no evidence to suggest that they were involved in any illegal activities. With no substantial leads, the case stalled, eventually becoming cold. Speculation emerged among some individuals, suggesting that the family might have become entangled in a failed car dealership scheme. 4 men were arrested in the following weeks, however they were all released without charge. Fingerprints were taken from the crime scene, however no matches were found. Time marched on and no breakthroughs came in the case. Months became years, and the years turned to decades. However, in 2019, 47 years after the murders, hope was reignited. A man named Shane Burt arrived at the White County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. Shane was there to aid with research regarding true crime in the Peach State. Shane spoke of his father, Billy Sunday Burt, who he frequently visited in prison before his self-inflicted death in 2017. Shane disclosed to investigators that Billy once told him that he remembered, quote, killing 3 people in the North Carolina mountains during a heavy snowstorm, remembering that they almost got caught. After informing them of his story, White County Sheriff's Office made contact with the authorities in Watauga County, who subsequently followed up new leads. Further interviews shone the spotlight onto 4 individuals: Charles David Reed, Bobby Jean Gaddis, Billy Wayne Davis, and Billy Sunday Burt. The group were affiliated with the Georgia-based Dixie Mafia, described as a loosely organised network. Authorities believed this organisation had been involved in numerous violent offences in Georgia and throughout the southeast during the 1960s and 1970s. Among the 4 suspects, 1 remains alive as of 2022 reports. Billy Wayne Davis was 81 years old and was serving a life sentence for murder at Augusta State Medical Prison in Georgia. He disclosed that they received payment to carry out the family's murder during the blizzard. Additionally, he acknowledged that they were close to being caught for the incident. He asserted that he served as the getaway driver, while Billy Burt and 2 accomplices, Bobby Gaddis and Charles Reed, executed the murders. Once it was confirmed that the case was solved, Ginny sued Durham, who lost her parents and brother that fateful snowy night and has since reclaimed her family name, said, quote, "I would like to thank all of the people who worked for decades on my family's case. I know that they sacrificed many days and weekends in order to work on solving this case since 1972. Despite finding the killers of Bryce, Virginia, and Bobby, the motive behind targeting the family and the identity of the person who ordered the hit remain a mystery."